So, Dark Elves versus Skaven tends to be a very problematic matchup for the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves are known as being an infantry heavy faction and a rush faction, and they're also known as being a faction with a lot of access to armor penetration. And versus Skaven, you don't need the armor penetration because most of their units are lightly armored, and if you just rush into their front line, Skaven have a lot of tools to sort of mitigate your damage, and if you don't break through that front line like very quickly over the course of the battle, you're just going to run out of troops, and Skaven is going to win the fight. The reason for this is Skrolk has some serious AoE degen abilities. He's going to make your units tired with Plague Rash, and then the engineer and the assassin both also have very, very strong AoE support abilities. So the assassin has, I'm going to highlight it here, Rival Hide Talisman, where it's minus 44 melee attack AoE, which is to me ridiculous. Like, it's not in the spirit of an assassin. Like, an assassin should be a unit that's designed to take out other individual targets. So why it has a huge AoE buff like that, it doesn't really make sense to me. Granted, you can say, for the assassin, well, the Dark Elf assassin, to be fair, why does the assassin have a Black Dragon egg? That's, an AoE attack too, right? But I think it's fundamentally different. The Black Dragon egg, it's not really intended to do a ton of damage. Like, it can do damage, but I think mostly the Black Dragon egg is intended as an escape mechanic. So if the assassin gets surrounded, you drop the Black Dragon egg, it knocks the whatever troops are surrounding the assassin, and you can run away with your assassin. And I think that is in the spirit of the assassin, and it doesn't punish players too much for taking an assassin, because at least they have option to an escape mechanic. I don't usually bring it because it's 150 gold, but it's nice to know that that option exists. And maybe if you're playing Dark Elves against Skaven, alternatively, instead of using it as an escape mechanic, you can use it to sort of push troops out of the way so that you can get into high value targets, like, let's say, a Lord Skrolk. Now with the Skaven, what you're going to see, like, the current meta is that they take Lord Skrolk, they take two assassins, and then they'll take like a Hell Pit Abomination. So the Hell Pit Abomination provides the mass. The assassins will kill anything that comes close to Lord Skrolk, and Lord Skrolk will degen the hell out of everything and just provide all of the Clan Rat spam and Plague Monk spam that you need to ensure that you're going to win that AoE fight. Now, I mean, if you want to try and bring an assassin or two against Skaven, and maybe you think you can catch Lord Skrolk out of position or the other assassin sleeping, well, one question is, how is the assassin going to perform against, like, the Dark Elf assassin against the Skaven assassin in a 1v1 contest? So this is a question I wanted to look into. I have a short unit testing video that I want to share with you. Here we have Khainite Assassin fully kitted out versus a Skaven Assassin, again, fully kitted out. And let's just see how they perform on the battlefield. Again, I'm just going to show you the results of one test, but suffice to say they're about the same price if they're fully kitted out. And I think there's a very big difference in the way that they perform on the battlefield. Okay, so hopping right into it. Assassin versus Assassin. Dark Elf versus Skaven. This is going to be a very cutthroat matchup. Skaven Assassin tries to be all sneaky, goes stealth mode, reappears as he gets close. Drop the bus right away. You can do Web of Shadows, sure, why not? You can even drop one of these just for good measure. And then as the leadership gets low, Black Lotus, not even close. I do want to show you just really quickly though, like, the difference in stats between the two as they're fighting. So Skaven has very high melee attack, but it doesn't have access to very high damage. So it's only 356 damage versus the Khanite assassin, who uh, the Khanite assassin who has no melee defense because of trophy heads and less melee attack because of that as well. But it's still 44, so it's enough to get hits in. And then a weapon strength of 523. So at least while the Dark Venom is popped, which is you only get one use of it, so you have to be careful. But if the Dark Venom is popped, the Khainite Assassin can win that fight versus the Skaven Assassin. So in a 2v1 situation, like if there's two Skaven Assassins versus one Khainite Assassin, the Skaven Assassins are going to win. They have, again, the Dark Elf Assassin only has access to one Dark Venom, right? So you can only use that on one of the two assassins, and he has essentially no melee defense when he's fighting these assassins, so they're going to be able to cut him up. But in a 1v1, when the Khainite assassin still has all his buffs, he can win, and he is a more expensive unit, so you would expect that to be the case. Alright, so just some closing thoughts on the assassin strategy. One option to, maybe challenge the Skaven is if you're expecting Lord Skroak with two assassins, you can counter it by bringing two assassins of your own and then focus on killing those assassins first. And then once those assassins are out of the way, you can then transition onto Lord Skroak and try and kill him. You might not be able to kill him because the assassins will have taken a lot of damage by that point that they need to fight Skroak, but you'll probably do a lot of damage on Skroak at the same time, and if you can take Skroak out of the fight, that will essentially secure the victory for the Dark Elves, because Skroak is just so important to the Skaven strategy, and without his leadership on the field, like all of the Skaven units are just going to be running away from the Dark Elf ones, so you're going to be in a very good situation. Now, if they do have a Hell Pit Abomination, though, the Hell Pit Abomination can be used defensively to knock the Khainite Assassins away from Skroak, which is why I think the Hell Pit Abomination is a really good choice to give the Skaven that mass that they need. So that's one thing to watch out for if you do have the Khainite Assassins. And if you're going to be attacking versus Skroak or the other assassins, you might need to try and take down that Hell Pit Abomination first, which is no easy task. So again, I think Skaven have all the tools that they need, and I think that it's still going to be a difficult matchup for the Dark Elves, but it's one idea that might help you secure a victory. So if you've made it this far in the video, thanks for your attention. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I'd just like to know your thoughts about, the Dark Elf Assassin and your matchups against Skaven. Have you had success using the Dark Elf Assassin against Skaven? Have you tried it? What worked for you? What didn't work? Let me know. Feel free to comment on the video, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks so much. Bye.